Bad news for consumers and borrowers. Inflation increased to 7% in February from 6.9% in January. Stats SA released the latest consumer price index data this morning. The main contributors were rising food and transport costs. And this is not good news for borrowers in the country either, as the data will be used to decide on the repo rate next week. Now, how will this latest CPI figures affect you? What does it all mean? Let's discuss it now with consumer attorney Trudie Broekmann. Trudie, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. What should we as consumers brace ourselves for now that we know that CPI is sitting at 7%, which is a percentage above that range set by the Reserve Bank of between 3%, and 6%, and they always look for the midpoint. What's coming?
We need to, right in the beginning of the year, we were already telling consumers we need to brace ourselves for price increases this year, and it's not going to get better. So we're sitting in March now. In February, we got statistics indicating that food prices were shooting up to just under 14% year on year. The pressure on consumers is brutal. At the same time, and I suppose these are all contributing factors to the rises in consumer inflation. The fuel price, which is sky high, and the power cuts that we're experiencing, which is putting pressure on retailers, businesses, honestly, all of us. So I think the message that we need to say is now is the time to tighten your belt, to look at your spending, to look at your discretionary spending and cut what can be cut. And for those of us who are able to put away a few cents, now is the time to save, because toward the end of the year, it might become a little bit harder for all of us to continue to do so. Yeah,
I see that medical inflation also went up. So not just food, and not just transport costs and consumer goods kind of thing that's affecting us. I mean, under these circumstances, we can and should expect the Reserve Bank next week to hike its repo rate.
Yes, so we know that the Reserve Bank looks at hiking the repo rate where inflation is sitting between 3% and 6%. So we're in their band. I think that there are unusual circumstances that play here, particularly with the experiencing, and that. I think as consumers, especially those of us who are paying bonds or have other vehicle finance, etc., you're paying off your credit card, etc., all of us are affected by a hike in the repo rate. I think consumers are starting to hope that the Reserve Bank will realize curbing inflation in this period of South Africa's history is not just a question of pushing up the repo rate. Sorting out the power crisis in the country is another key piece of the puzzle, and that we need to look at that as well. That at some stage, the middle class, the goose that lays the golden eggs here in South Africa, is going to be rendered powerless, and that business will be harmed in the end if that is the case. We've seen incredibly high inflation and incredibly high interest rates in South Africa in the past. I remember when I was a young girl at university, we were looking at in the 20% for interest rates. I don't think we want to go there again at this stage in South Africa's history.
Thank you very much for your time and insights there, and apologies to our viewers for the break in the connection there now and again. That's consumer attorney Trudie Broekmann. We get the sense that it's going to be tough times, so tightening of belts continues here in South Africa.